So I'm gonna go ahead and wing this. This is basically the same shit that I've been saying over and over again, but there's a homeless issue and it's a national issue, and then there's poverty. Homelessness is easier to solve than poverty. They just need shelter. Get them some shelter. Now poverty, you got to get jobs and other institutional things. But if you're not going to handle the homelessness, then you're not going to handle poverty. I remember actually Larry Atencio saying that every one of us cares about the poor and cares about the homeless. Bullshit. I'm Chris Nickel, the way he just did this animal euthanasia thing, just passed it off onto the county. Same thing he did with Black Hills. They talk out of both ends of their mouths, and the only thing that these politicians will do is what you make them. If we're waiting for them to get a goddamn conscience, the people that are active, the people that are pushing for any kind of policy are anti-Christian, anti-humanity. They're so inhumane, it's sickening. So I have this CSIndy, CSIndy.com, Colorado Springs Independent, and Zaria Rogers did an article about the homelessness situation in Pueblo. So the headline is Posada blames weed for homeless influx in Pueblo. Counselor says they don't need a shelter. That's what people are speaking out. That's very loud. Lori Winter wants to just get rid of all the fucking homeless. If somebody went into a homeless camp and just started, axing and macheting them and just shooting them all up, Lori Winter would be happy about that. In Bokasi, you had this huge massacre. You had a boat tax. You had a bunch of fishermen who've been living on that land forever. But the government, the brand new government, it's in between a border area, and guess what's in Bokasi? A lot of oil. And America's there right now. So, Bokasi, Africa. And the boat tax, they had a notice in the mail, or somehow they got a notice. And then 3 days later, all the authority figures came up and said, where's your tax money? They didn't have the tax money, and then they just started executing people. So to think that oppression, that murder is right by oppression, that's not, I don't think that's a death sentence. You fucking Christians, there's no Christians, there's no progressives in Pueblo City. If there was, we would handle the homeless. We would already have that, but we don't even have a shelter. That's what we're doing with the homeless. Fuck you. You die out in the streets. We don't give a goddamn. We don't even have a fucking shelter. So let's just start right from the top. Posada blames weed for homeless influx. Well, let's actually look at the numbers, you lying motherfuckers. Posada is such a shitty organization. So they said that in 2017, they did the number. The Pueblo County survey found that there is 1,828 people who were homeless. That was in the beginning, January. So 1828, that's 1/4 of the 7,840 unique homeless persons Posada's HUD required tracking system served in 2016. And then that was an increase from 2015 when Posada served 4,946. So about 5,000 people were homeless in 2015. About 8,000 people are homeless in 2016. Now there's only 2,000. Well, shit. God, I bet the Christian brotherly love of Pueblo City lifted those homeless people up and got them some jobs, cleaned them up. That's the reason that homeless number went down, right? There's 8,000 people 2 years ago. Just 2 years ago, we had 8,000 homeless, and now we only have 2,000. So we must have found 6,000 new homes for these folks. You know that shit ain't true. Either these numbers are fucking bullshit, which I'm, inclined to believe. Because is that a success? What happened to them? They got pushed out. They died. A whole bunch of people are being pulled out of the, out of the goddamn lake. So, well, that's one way to get rid of the homeless people. Let them fucking drown. Poverty is a death sentence, so homelessness is even worse. Poverty is a death sentence. So if we truly cared about each other, and don't think that this only affects homeless people. Let's take a quick look at the housing prices. So I got this. This is December 21st, 2017, one of these little penny things. And they have housing. So there's all these rentals. The cheapest rentals that I found, you had one for $550, south side, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Tenant pays electric and gas. No pets. You can't have no friends, not a goldfish, not a puppy, not a kitten. Fuck you. You pay me $550 every goddamn month, but you can't have a fucking goldfish. Pretend that us not taking care of we're going to have a housing crisis. We already have a housing crisis, right? The homeless have no fucking homes to live in. And then the poor people, because of these outrageous rates, they're stacking on top of one another. You really give a shit about your community? You really want to make sure there's not a bunch of hypodermic needles strewn all over the place, getting everybody AIDS and HIV? Yeah, I guess you could just, machete them all, right? Just massacre them, just like they did in Benghazi. You didn't pay your boat tax, but you're not the real government, so why do I gotta... It's directly related. The housing crisis is directly related to the poverty and the homelessness issues. 1 out of 4 kids in our city are poor. 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4 kids are poor. In the greatest country in the world. Lori Winter has a lot of bullshit to say. Lori Winter owns rental property. Lori Winter owns fucking real estate. Yeah, I'm sure Lori Winter has had a hard life. I'm sure she's had to, look at homelessness, look at being on the streets. I'm sure it's been real fucking difficult for her. She says it's a shot across the bow when they pointed out that she has all these, weeds and shit in her rental property, so she wants to tell everybody else to cut their fucking grass. Meanwhile, she's being a hypocrite and not giving a goddamn. But if you want to tell me what is the policy of Pueblo City's government, it's a winner fucking policy. The winner policy is there's winners and losers. Some sink, some swim. It's capitalism. If you already got the money, if you already got power, well, you're okay. You're not, looking at homeless. Do you realize how dangerous it would be for any, good person, any good sort of just a nice, quiet, obedient child to be living on the fucking street, right? They go to school, do this, do that, and then they're homeless, but the teachers don't give a shit, but try to tell the teachers what to do, and they're like, hey, don't tell me what to do, I'm an adult. Oh, really? That's all you do is boss other motherfuckers around, you hypocrite. So, the policy of Pueblo City is to machete and massacre the homeless. They don't give a fuck. She brags about, I've broke up a lot of bum camps. Bums. She's naming them. Bunch of bums, bunch of fucking losers, white trash, right? Maybe not white, but just trash, right? She's cleaned up many bum camps. You clean them up, so you made sure there was good sanitation and made sure they had blankets and just, actually kind of help them along. Or you got cops to beat the fucking shit out of them. Violence, right? Poverty, they already got a death sentence, so why not put some fucking violence upon them? I'm sure that'll really help. That's real Christian. Great progressive, great Christian fucking town here. God, man. She's bragging about it. She don't give a shit. She has no conscience. She's a psychopath who has no conscience. She don't give a shit. Yeah, you cleaned up many bum camps. Because they're not humans. They're just fucking bums. Actually, no children pay the mortgage, right? So that would make all children bums. There's 1,000 kids who's homeless in Pueblo City. She keeps on going. They're transient. I mean, you don't really see anywhere near people out begging than you do in the summertime. As soon as it gets cold, you see less of that homeless faction. Faction, yeah, because it's a big group. It's a big coalition, right? People say, you know what? Let's all lose our jobs. Let's have no anchor, no foundation in society. Have no friends or family. And let's all gather together and sleep out in the fucking ditch. That homeless faction. I really have half a mind to actually go ask the homeless faction, how organized are they? Maybe they need someone to organize them. So, God, we should be talking about how great 8,000, right? 2 years ago we had 8,000 homeless. Now we just have 2,000. So 6,000 homeless people. No, it wasn't a heartwarming story. You know what the fuck happened to those 6,000. I mentioned this during the last year's campaign, but what if we give them a bus ticket? I think that's a good first sort of option. It costs, what, $50, $100 to get them a bus ticket, but perhaps they are only one trip away from where they actually want to go. So that would be a compassionate approach. And, it's not getting rid of them. It is, but it ain't. So that's more compassionate than beating the shit out of them and just saying, get the hell out of here, you bum camps, you damn bums. The article is about marijuana, right? It's all about the marijuana. There was, 600 people said they relocated to Pueblo for legalized marijuana. Now, that's bringing in the homeless, that's bringing in the heroin addicts, right? All these problems. No, Pueblo City didn't have any of these problems until the marijuana thing. Yeah, Pueblo City last year tried to smash the marijuana thing. So you got a bunch of reactionaries, a bunch of right-wing Republican reactionaries, and a bunch of neoliberal corporatist Democrats. You don't have any progressives, any Christians. Nobody actually gives a shit about the homeless and the poor. They're Lori winners. They're all a bunch of Lori winners. They got some money. They're doing okay for themselves. They assume that, everybody's had the same breaks that they've had. And their solution to the homeless is to make their situations harder and worse. A bus ticket would be a compassionate, but that only takes care of about 1%. You actually want to stop the hypodermic needles. You actually want to stop the robbing and stealing. I mean, when people are desperate, how are they going to survive? What are they going to do? You want to sit there and ignore the situation to where they become more and more desperate? There's people that's in Canyon City, a friend of mine that knows. Okay, so they just said that there's people there that break the law so they get the comfort of a jail. Just recently you had that jail inmate who beat up the prison guard. And that's a horrible situation. But how many people are in that jail? They say there's overcrowding. How many people are in that jail because they're poor and homeless and have no other place to go? So they got to break a law, right? Could you imagine being in that position? You're poor, homeless, have no place to go. Nobody gives a flying fuck. So you got to commit some sort of shitty, petty crime. And guess what? Pueblo City, you're paying for their food, you're paying for their electric, and you're paying for their shelter anyways. The only difference is you made sure they had to commit a crime before you gave a fuck. Why don't we take care of people before they're criminals? Why don't we actually be Christians and, show people love? That's the only thing that's going to work. That's the only thing that's going to help anybody. Show them love. And the housing crisis is directly related to the lack of shelter, lack of will to help out the homeless people. So let's take a look at this real estate thing, okay? So you have one house, $550, right? $550, but you can't have no fucking pets. That's the cheapest. That's one of the cheapest ones. There's $425 studio, 1 bedroom. Landlord pays all utilities but electricity. You need a $25 application fee so I can do a background check on you. I want a background check on this guy. 719-418-0097, 719-994-7769. Are they criminals? How do you treat your tenants? You're a fucking landlord, so you're a piece of shit and you probably steal deposits, don't you? Nah, how about this? Before I live in your piece of shit fucking house, I want an application from you. No, you gotta pay me $25 so I can research your dumbass. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, because you're a fucking hypocrite. I guarantee you these fucking landlords are bigger fucking criminals than they act like they're fucking above. No, they're the oppressors. They're the oppressors, right? They want to make sure there's a homeless. I mean, Lori Winter has rental property. So if there's no housing for anybody, if the homeless, right, having lots of homeless, it's smarter for Lori Winter in terms of being a capitalist to make sure people don't have any housing. You can skyrocket, make sure, charge as much as you can. So it's just like the Okies, just like, what's that, the Okies, Tom Joad, the Grapes of Wrath. In the Grapes of Wrath, everybody was going out west to pick tomatoes and shit, but they didn't need the workers, and so they would just dump all the fruit out in the street. Good fruit, good food. Because if you handed out the food, well, that depresses the prices. You can't just hand it out for free. So they would waste good food in order to make sure they can make a fucking buck. That's the same thing Lori Winter is doing. It's the same thing Lori Winter is doing. She's got rental property. She don't even cut the fucking grass in her rental property, but telling everybody else, right, that they're not living their life right. And so if you had a shelter, if you had housing, even in New York City, they were protesting affordable housing. Could you imagine? That's what people actually stand up and they're pissed off about. I remember somebody, one of the Greens or one of the, I don't know, environmentalists, well, I'm here for democracy. I'm a citizen. What the fuck do you think I'm here for? That people, there's too many goddamn Stockholm Syndrome motherfuckers. You love your damn oppressors. You want to sit there, oh, how brave. You're going to go around and, attack the most vulnerable people in our society. Hey, Lori Winter, did you ever go to the banks? What about those cabals? What about Petco? Let's ask them what they think about the homeless situation. I bet they had the same perspective, right? They want to bring businesses and shit into Pueblo City. Oh my God, the homeless situation, the homeless crisis makes our city look bad. So let's just sweep them under a rug. Let's just push them out. Let's just clean up the mini bum camps. Mini bum camps. These are people. These are humans. These are, somebody's daughter or son. They're fucking people. What the fuck? People want to treat them, and then I've heard this way too many times, these candidates, they were not courageous when they stood, they want to sit there and say, well, some of them are homeless because, they had bad circumstances. The other one are homeless because they want to be. Oh, yeah, okay. They want to be homeless, right? They want to be homeless. Get the fuck out of here. I think I have to actually go talk to the homeless. I'll just ask 5 of them and see how many of them actually want to be homeless. That's a fucking bullshit thing. That's a rationalization. That's just a way for evil, shitty people to fuck over the homeless. It's their fault. They chose it. Fuck them. Who gives a shit? The wealthy have all the friends in the world, right? Bankers, you think they got to worry about housing, where they're going to sleep, if they're going to be warm? Fuck. You have no idea what homeless people have to go through. They don't have any interest really in going to a shelter because at a shelter they can't drink and they can't shoot heroin. They're going to have to shower and they're going to have to behave. So that's essentially what it is, right? They want to fucking brainwash them and make them obedient, but that's not going to help them. What's going to help them is strengthening them and making them independent. In Switzerland, they have the war on drugs has failed. So Switzerland is doing some novel approaches. And you actually have a doctor. You actually have a doctor there. If they're heroin addicts, they, have the needles. The doctor is there and they administer and help make sure they do it safely. This keeps them off the street. If you give them housing, if you put them in housing, you're going to pay for them in jail anyways. And then your fucking jailers are going to get beat up and then you're going to say, give me more money for a jail. $315 million for a jail when you could have bought a house for any one of those people for $10,000. But you can't do anything for people. The Lori Winters of the world only wants to beat the shit out of people, spend more money on jail, and ruin people. We can't throw people away. We gotta stop fucking thinking like that. Throw people away? No, I don't like that. I don't like that shit at all. So there's, let's read some more stuff. We kind of focus our services on, we can only really support those people who are here from Pueblo because, that's who we get the funding to help. Posada's not the only organization. The Salvation Army closed its warming shelter earlier this year, citing lack of funding. Posada, it's also changing its focus to helping homeless families and youth as the season grows cold. So singles, right? If you're a single man or single woman, fuck you. You don't matter. So you need to hurry up and have a baby, right? Commit a crime, go live in jail, or have a baby. Posada might give a shit about you then. They might give a shit about you then. And the reason why there's less people is because they've died, or they've moved on, or they're not being counted. We're not succeeding because we're actually solving the homelessness problem. We're attacking them, we're ruining them, we're throwing them in jail. So you have, let's take more. There's $500 for a 1-bedroom place, $425. There's a room in my home, a permanent thing, $500. So that's the cheapest. But let's just go down the list. There's $650 for 1 bedroom, $700 for 1 bedroom, $850 for 2 bedroom, $850 3 bedroom, $900 3 bedroom, $1,100 for a 3-bedroom house, $650 for 1 bedroom, $950 for a 3 bedroom, $1,650 for a 4-bedroom house. You got townhouses, which is $775, $675, 2 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms $725, 2 bedrooms $650, 3 bedrooms $825, What the fuck? You're paying mortgages. You understand that, renters? You're wasting your goddamn money and you're paying the renters' mortgages. You're helping the Lori Winners of the world pay for that property that you're staying in. If you watch It's a Wonderful Life, right? All these Christians, big old Christian celebration. Nobody's Christians around here. Yeah, y'all celebrate, y'all go to church and you tell each other you're good fucking people, but you didn't even give a shit about your homeless. It's a Wonderful Life, Frank Capra movie. So the Frank Capra movie, It's a Wonderful Life, they had savings and loans people because there was actually like institutions that want people to get in houses. This is good for the economy. You get somebody in a house, then they have, they have that in their pocket. They have a house, they have a safety, they have a safe place for their belongings, and now they have a reason to go work. If you're homeless, what the fuck would be the reason? Yeah, to get some paycheck so you can, buy some fucking fast food and then nutrition? I mean, God, your health has to deteriorate. So by not giving a shit about the homeless, we're spreading that misery. They're going to go around robbing and hurting people. They're homeless. The needles are all over the fucking place. Yeah, I guess if you machete them, but you're going to tell me that that's going to get rid of the problem? That's not going to get rid of the problem. And marijuana, bringing in all this other stuff, like those problems weren't here before, right? Bullshit. Heroin was in Pueblo City before marijuana got here. Homelessness was here in Pueblo City before marijuana got here. That's just a convenient fucking scapegoat. The thing with marijuana is you're going to get more people coming in just in general. Okay? So expect it. That's good. People want to live in Colorado. So quit being a human hater. You human haters. Y'all hate people. That woman from Iceland in that Michael Moore movie, she said you couldn't pay her to live in America. Iceland is being run by the Greens. The Green Party runs Iceland. The Greens run Iceland. In Iceland, they threw the bankers in jail. Is Lori Winter going to break up the banker fucking camps? What about the banker camps? I'm sure there's many banker camps out there, and the banker camps are fucking everybody over. But if you work for the 1%, if you got Stockholm Syndrome, well, you defend the wealthy and the powerful, and you fuck over the most vulnerable. So what are we going to do? Pueblo Rescue Mission, they're talking about something. A lot of them are fine, okay? So this is great, right? She voted against the Hyde Park proposal. No, there may not be a need for a warming shelter. This is depressing. Most people are, just a few paychecks from losing their homes and being homeless themselves. But she's like, there's some people that are homeless because of hard times, but really, they choose it. They choose to live that life. They choose to live on the street and live in their own filth and just doing heroin. They choose that life. Yeah, I bet you maybe 1 fucking % choose that life. A lot of them are fine. They are in a nice, expensive tent. They've got expensive, warm sleeping bags and a great big bonfire. That's the only fucking property that they own in the world. Lori Winter owns buildings, plural, several. She's got her own home. And she has another home for other renters. I wonder what her rental rates are. I bet you it's not fucking $300 or $400. I guarantee it ain't affordable. She's maximizing her fucking rental prices. Probably is real shitty. Can't have no pets. Don't pay anything else. So there's one person here who says, I know for a fact there are at least 200 individuals living on the streets, under bridges, and along riverbanks who need shelter during the coldest months of the year. And this one Pueblo homeless man goes by Casey, says that people living under the city's 4th Street Bridge live a considerably less luxurious life than the one Lori Winter described. Some of them got tents, but most of them live under a bridge. Oh, the homeless are doing good. They got expensive blankets and an expensive tent. That's all that they got. So they were able to scrape together, what, $100 fucking dollars? So they don't die in the goddamn winter? And she wants to say, look how luxurious. What does Lori Winter drive? Does she drive a nice car, own nice fucking homes, hangs out with the wealthy and the rich, and then wants to sit there and judge poor people how they live their fucking life? When you give them a chance, then I'll give a shit about your stupid ass fucking opinion. But I don't like the rationalization. They need to hate the homeless. So it's their fault. Fuck them. Now we can machete them, beat them up, right? Massacre them like they did in Benghazi. The last thing I want to mention, there is an article in the Gazette. So I'm not watching the Pueblo Chieftain. A couple problems that I see that are developing. The Pueblo County elections officers, they've taken down all the past election results. So they're suppressing information. They're keeping information away from the public. So they're liars, and there's no independent monitors during the election. So they very well could be bubbling in 2 or 3 bubbles to make sure that that there's voter fraud. There's no way to tell. There's no way to know any better. So when they're taking information away from the internet, making sure nobody knows what the fuck is going on, and they don't have an independent, what the fuck is all going on? So, and then they don't have an independent monitors. How can you trust the integrity of the election? The Pueblo Chieftain, there's a paywall now for the Pueblo Chieftain, so that only shows that the Pueblo Chieftain having a paywall only shows that they only give a shit about moneyed interests. If you have money, that's the only way you can get any information around here. Just if you got some money, they're supposed to be the paper of record. A lot of these things that the government does, unless you actually publish something out in the paper, then it's not legit. So you have to inform the public. Well, the poor people are not getting the fucking information, so they should not be the paper of record. Really, I think the city should put out their own publication. So, this is just the information. They should have the website. They should tell everybody, everything. They do have the videotapes and the agendas and the minutes and stuff online. But I just feel like there should be they should write up something to make it nice and simple. This is what we accomplished, instead of allowing the corporate fucking media who has an agenda, the Republicans. So the Pueblo Chieftain is a bunch of fucking Republicans who hate the poor, who hate the homeless, right? They don't give a flying fuck. And then people will say, oh, we just need to have a pride in our city. Yeah, you're real proud of your fucking homeless population, right? You're proud that you don't give a shit. You're proud that you're not Christians. You're not good fucking people. You're not progressives. You're right-wing Republicans, even the Democrats. You fucking Hillary Clinton, neoliberal corporatist voting. She's a warmonger. She was for a border wall. She's against marijuana. Get the fuck out of here. So I got 2 minutes, 30. I'm just going to end it on 30 minutes. Now, I'm just going to read this article, but this is a homeless person from Colorado Springs writing a letter about people insulting the homeless. So, stop judging the homeless. Regarding Mary Marshall's letter in the December 18th editorial opinion section of the Gazette about the homeless population increasing, this may be due to people not making a living wage. If they've been making a living wage, the increased cost of things such as rent have cost people their housing, and there's not enough affordable housing for those in the lower spectrum of the income bracket. Many people are only a few paychecks from being homeless as it is. Sending the homeless to California or anywhere else that is experiencing wildfires will do nothing to solve the problem. Just move it someplace else and burden those states with the extra homeless people. Unless what you're suggesting is to send the homeless to help fight the wildfires with no training and hope they die in the fires. That's precisely what Lori Winter would say. There are many homeless people that use drugs and alcohol. How many calls do the police, fire, and ambulances answer for the tax-paying citizens of Colorado Springs and surrounding El Paso County for their drug and alcohol use? I am homeless and have been going to school full time. I have been using my military benefits to achieve my education and usually do not have the required books in a timely manner, nor do I have a consistent place to live and study. I paid into my educational benefits to get them while on active duty, and the taxpayers are picking up the rest of the cost. So instead of talking bad about the homeless and applying what a few are doing to everyone, one must look first at their self and their own social place in the hierarchy and accurately assess what they and the others and at their status level are doing, and then try to help solve the problem. Pat Riley, Colorado Springs. So that's what Lori Winter wants. The homeless veterans, the people that have fought for this country, the people that have been in the military, who wants to further their education, get the hell out of here. You got a nice expensive tent and a nice expensive blanket. Oh, you're living above your means. God, you need to what? Not have warmth in the winter? What the fuck is she thinking?